In Singapore, you're registered as an organ donor automatically if you're over the age of 21. Opting out results in you being put at the bottom of the organ priority list if you ever need a transplant. What do you think of this system? It's what every country should do. I believe Spain does it as well. In fact, in Mexico, they will pay for a basic funeral if you donate organs. For reasons I appreciate, there is such a dearth of organs and too many die BC of it. I also believe that most people would not object to donation but just never really think about it. It shows the power of default from behavioral economics. It's a great test of faith for Christians. If you follow your faith, you will be generous of your organs, and have no fear of the afterlife. For the less faithful, they would be well advised either to drop the charade of faith, or double down on being a donor for their own sake, since they'll want to milk this life for all they can before they have to meet their maker. I support it mostly. But there should be a way of making sure that people with a legitimate reason for opting out don't go to the bottom of the list as punishment. I would love to donate, but I am never allowed to because I have had malaria a couple of times. Apparently that means I always have it, and if I donate an organ the recipient could get sick. I like what you described. Opting out is a valid option, but those who are willing to put into the system are given priority when benefiting from said system? It seems an equitable and fairly reasonable way to ensure those in need of organs can get them and saves on paperwork for registration which, as I understand it, is a deterrent for some. We have this in Scotland. It's become an issue for relatives to overrule the express wishes of the family member who has died. It's resulted in too few easily transplanted body parts. I think our system has many advantages and improves the life of so many. I hope to be used as much as possible. To be buried in a tiny box, not sure about placing at the bottom. A lot of this can be case by case and urgency based. But I am all in on having automatic enrollment and you can opt out if you want. Edit y'all are crazy down voting lol. Better not critically look at policy and medical assessments and have some nuance. Just let them all die. I love it. If you're not willing to be an organ donor, fine. But if you need one, try and make peace with the universe or whatever God you believe in, because you're going straight to the bottom of the list. There's just no coherent reason why someone wouldn't be an organ donor. Wish this was a standard wherever I lived. SG has a lot of admirable public policies that many of their citizens do not appreciate as they don't live elsewhere. The world would be a better place if they applied at most 80 of the most benevolent public policies in place. Sounds like a very good way to proceed. I've heard that here in the US they sometimes ignore the check mark on someone's driver's license saying they agree to be a donor, and instead the organs go to waste. I think this is a much better way to go. I'm from said place, yay just about no one here actually knows about it. Something the gov quietly does and very few complain. Because there is very little to complain about, and we have other things to do. As we say here, okay lore, that's a tough one, but I dig it. Automatically registering peeps as organ donors is cool, but the opting out part seems a bit harsh. But hey, gotta prioritize those who have already hopped on the donation train. It's not bad, but I prefer a system where people in need of organs had to fight in an arena while the family of the deceased sat in the emperor's spot and judged which fighters were most worthy. You're automatically enlisted as an organ donor across EU, too. You also have to opt out if you don't want to. I don't believe this fact actually affects your position on an organ list, though. Question is, does this law apply equally to everyone in Singapore? Politicians, super rich businessmen, powerful people, etc.? If so, I can agree with this, otherwise no. Using Singapore is not really the best place I'd use as an example for anything like this. It's a very repressive government. Be careful what you wish for. Honestly, the idea has creeped me out ever since I heard how mummies were made. Also, as someone who plays RimWorld, it probably shouldn't be encouraged. I think it's an excellent idea. If you aren't prepared to share with others, you shouldn't be able to get in return. It's not fair to take and not give. As a Singaporean, I had no idea this existed. But it kinda makes sense, no contribution to helping the system, no benefits from the system. The numbers speak for themselves. Draw your own conclusions. I'm all for it. Registering as an organ donor automatically gives more second chances. I'm fine with it. You don't want to donate, you don't get the benefit of donation. Kind of sucks for those with medical conditions that preclude donation, but fair. An opt-out either way, would be irresponsible to give anyone my damaged organs. Well, I guess in Singapore, you can say it's organized crime prevention. I think that's fair. If you don't contribute, then you shouldn't benefit. I think it's excellent. Why would you not want to be an organ donor? It makes sense. Singapore is like the F your feelings country. I'm assuming that if you cannot donate then this doesn't apply. Organ donor is asking to get killed on the operating table.